You feel it before you can explain it. A quiet pressure, a sense that something is holding you back. Not because you are broken, not because you lack potential. You have been carrying more than you were meant to carry. Old patterns, old reactions, old limits. They whisper comfort, but they steal momentum. Pause. Listen closely. This is not your destiny. This moment is not an ending. It is a turning point. Right now, awareness is rising. Right now, strength is waking up. You are beginning to see what has been unseen. Stay here. Do not rush past this feeling, because this is the moment everything changes for you. Not slowly, not someday. From this point forward, you move differently. You choose with clarity. You stand with intention. Say it silently and mean it. I am ready. Take a breath. What comes next will demand more from you now fully. Your mind speaks before you do. It hesitates, doubts, distracts, and negotiates. Most people believe this is normal. They live as listeners to their own thoughts, reacting instead of directing. This audiobook begins with a different assumption. The mind is a tool, not a master. Train your mind to obey you is not about motivation, hype, or temporary discipline. It is about command. It is about restoring the natural order in which you decide and the mind follows. When this order is reversed, effort feels heavy, focus feels fragile, and progress feels uncertain. When it is restored, clarity becomes stable and action becomes calm. This work starts where most advice fails. It does not ask you to feel inspired. It asks you to understand control. You will learn why willpower collapses under pressure, why intentions fade, and why knowing what to do is rarely enough. More importantly, you will learn how to build internal authority, quiet, consistent, and reliable. The training you are about to enter is subtle but firm. It teaches you how to interrupt automatic reactions, how to slow the mind without suppressing it, and how to issue decisions that do not require emotional agreement. Over time, resistance weakens, focus stops wandering, execution becomes natural. This audiobook is for those who are tired of inner debate, for those who want fewer promises and more follow-through, for those who understand that real strength is not loud, rushed, or emotional, but steady, exact, and disciplined. As you listen, do not look for entertainment. Look for alignment. Each section is designed to shift how you relate to your thoughts, not by force, but by structure. You are not here to fight your mind. You are here to lead it. The moment you stop asking your mind how it and start telling it what will happen, everything changes. This is where obedience begins. Chapter 1. The war inside you begins. There is a conflict inside you that has shaped every result you have ever experienced. It is quiet, constant, relentless. One part of you wants order, growth, and progress. Another part wants comfort, delay, and ease. This war has never stopped. You have simply not been taught how to see it clearly. Today, that changes. You do not lack willpower. You lack awareness. And awareness is the first form of control. Right now, your mind behaves like an untrained army. Thoughts move without command. Emotions rise without permission. Impulses act without strategy. Nothing is coordinated. Nothing is aligned. When this happens, effort feels heavy and discipline feels forced. You are not failing. You are operating without leadership. Pause for a moment. Notice what happens inside you when a challenge appears. There is a voice that urges you forward and another that pulls you back. One speaks of discipline. The other whispers comfort. One plans long term. The other demands relief now. This is not confusion. This is conflict. Every outcome in your life is decided here first. Before results appear in the world, a decision is made internally. Before action, there is a thought. Before consistency, there is a moment of choice. Most people never notice this moment. They react automatically. You are here to do something different. Awareness is not passive. Awareness is power. You begin by observing without obeying. When a thought arises, you do not argue, you do not follow it, you notice it. When emotion surfaces, you do not suppress it. You acknowledge it. You stand above it. This is the first act of command. Notice, separate, decide. Notice the thought. Separate yourself from it. Decide whether it deserves action. This is how control begins. At first, this feels unfamiliar. Your old self resists being observed. It is used to operating in silence. It thrives when unnoticed. The moment you bring light to it, tension rises. That tension is not a problem. It is proof that awareness is working. You may feel discomfort, restlessness, urgency. Stay steady. Do not retreat. You are learning to stand inside pressure without collapsing into impulse. This is leadership training. Your disciplined self does not shout. It speaks calmly. It waits for you to listen. Your impulsive self demands attention immediately. It thrives on urgency. Once you see this difference, you cannot unsee it. The war inside you is not about good versus bad. It is about command versus chaos. Chaos feels loud. Command feels calm. As you continue listening, you begin to feel grounded. You are no longer trapped inside every thought. You are watching them pass. Some carry value, some do not. You choose deliberately. This choice restores confidence. Confidence creates momentum. You are not fighting yourself. You are organizing yourself. Each time you pause instead of react, you weaken the old pattern. Each time you choose intentionally, you strengthen the new one. This is not dramatic, it is subtle, and it is permanent. There will be moments when the old habits surge. That is expected. Training does not erase instinct overnight. It replaces it through repetition. Stay patient. Stay alert. Notice, separate, decide. As awareness grows, tension rises again. You begin to realize how often your life was guided by unexamined impulses. This realization can feel heavy. Let it pass. This is not regret. This is clarity. Clarity always arrives before change. Breathe. You are doing this correctly. Relief follows awareness. Not because the work is over, but because confusion is gone. You now know where the battle is fought. Inside, quietly, moment by moment. You are becoming someone who notices before reacting, someone who leads internally, someone whose actions are chosen, not triggered. This is the foundation of discipline. This is the start of authority. Say it calmly, say it clearly. I am ready. Let that settle. The war has been named. The battlefield revealed. What comes next will require more from you, and you will be ready for it. Chapter 2. Why your mind resists discipline. Your mind does not resist discipline because you are flawed. It resists discipline because it was trained to. Long before you chose your goals, patterns were already forming. Repetition became preference. Preference became habit. Habit became identity. What you feel as resistance today is not a personal failure. It is conditioning doing exactly what it was designed to do. This understanding removes shame, and it replaces it with responsibility. Your mind is built for efficiency, not excellence. It seeks the familiar, not the meaningful. It conserves energy by default. When effort appears, it hesitates. When structure appears, it questions. When discomfort appears, it signals retreat. This is not rebellion. This is biology. Picture gravity pulling everything downward. It does not hate height. It simply follows its nature. Your mind works the same way. Left. Without leadership, it pulls you toward ease, comfort, and least resistance. That pull is constant, quiet, persistent, and invisible unless you are paying attention. This is why awareness alone is not enough. You can see the pattern and still fall into it. You can understand the habit and still repeat. Knowledge does not equal command. Leadership does. There will be moments when you know exactly what to do and still feel resistance rise inside you. That moment is critical. This is where most people stop. They interpret resistance as a signal to wait, to delay, to reconsider. You are here to learn a different response. Resistance is not a message. It is a test. The moment effort appears, your old conditioning speaks. It uses reasonable language. It suggests comfort. It offers delay. It frames hesitation as wisdom. This voice sounds calm, logical, convincing. That is why it has been in control for so long. Do not argue with it. Arguments keep you engaged at its level. Explanations invite negotiation. Negotiation gives resistance time to grow. Leadership does not debate impulses. Leadership directs them. Do not argue, direct. When your mind pulls downward, you do not explain why you must rise. You rise anyway. When structure feels heavy, you do not analyze the feeling. You act despite it. This is how conditioning is rewritten. Not through force, through consistency. At first, this feels uncomfortable. That discomfort is not danger. It is unfamiliar territory. Your nervous system is adjusting to a new command structure. Stay calm, stay steady, nothing is wrong. You are learning to lead something that was never meant to lead itself. There is relief in this realization. You stop blaming yourself for resistance. You stop labeling it as weakness. You stop turning discipline into a personal struggle. It becomes a mechanical process. Signal, response, direction. Calm returns when confusion leaves. And then tension builds again, because now you see how often resistance decided your pace. How many times you slowed down not because you needed rest, but because your mind pulled downward. This awareness sharpens. It does not crush you. You are not behind. You are early in your training. Imagine acting without hesitation. Imagine noticing resistance and moving anyway. Imagine structure feeling neutral instead of heavy. Imagine effort becoming familiar. This is not fantasy. This is adaptation. The mind follows what is repeated. Every time you act without negotiating, you weaken the old conditioning. Every time you direct instead of debate, you strengthen leadership. This shift is subtle, but it compounds quickly. Your mind begins to learn something new. That effort does not equal danger. That discomfort does not equal failure. That structure does not remove freedom. It creates it. This is where empowerment begins. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop asking permission from your emotions. You act because you decided to. This decision becomes grounding. It stabilizes. You move with less internal noise, less friction, less delay. And still, resistance will appear. That does not mean the process failed. It means gravity still exists. Leadership is not the absence of pull. It is the refusal to be ruled by it. Do not argue, direct. Each repetition makes the command clearer. Each action builds trust within yourself. You begin to experience a quiet confidence, not excitement, not hype, certainty. You know you can move even when you do not feel like it. That knowledge changes everything. Your mind starts to follow your standards, slowly at first, then more easily, then automatically. This is not force. This is training taking hold. You are no longer surprised by resistance. You expect it. You meet it calmly. You move anyway. This calm movement under pressure is leadership. This is how discipline stops feeling heavy and starts feeling normal. As this chapter closes, you are standing at a threshold. You understand why resistance exists. You no longer personalize. You no longer fear it. What comes next will require precision. Because now that you see the pull, you will be asked to master the pause before action. Stay alert. Stay steady. The next step will demand more awareness than ever before. Chapter 3. Detaching from impulse. There is a space inside you that you have rarely. It exists between what you think and what you do. For most of your life, that space was ignored. Thoughts appeared. Actions followed. Emotion surged. Reaction obeyed. This happened so fast it felt natural, automatic, inevitable, but it was never inevitable. It was untrained speed. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who hears them. This distinction changes everything. A thought is an event, not an order. An emotion is a signal, not a command. Yet for years they have been treated as authority. When impulse spoke, action followed. When urgency appeared, direction collapsed. You did not choose, you reacted. Today, you begin to reclaim. Joyce, imagine standing above a rushing river. The water moves fast, loud, uncontrolled. If you step into it without awareness, it pulls you along. That river is your impulse stream. Thoughts, feelings, urges, constant movement. Most people live inside it, dragged by its current, calling that movement who they are. You are stepping above it. From above, the river loses power. You see the speed, you see the direction, you see where it would carry you if you stepped in. And because you are above it, you are not forced to move with. Silence becomes strength here. Not external silence, internal silence. The silence that comes when you stop reacting immediately. The silence that appears when you pause before obeying. This pause is not weakness, it is authority forming. At first, the pause feels uncomfortable. Your system is used to motion, used to response, used to noise. When you pause, tension rises. Stay calm. That tension is the sound of control being installed. Pause. Breathe. Choose. Breathing slows the body. Slowing the body quiets urgency. Quiet urgency creates space. And space is where leadership lives. You begin to notice something subtle. Thoughts come and go whether you act on them or not. Emotions rise and fall whether you react or not. The world does not collapse when you pause. Nothing breaks. Nothing is lost. In fact, something is gained. Clarity. This clarity allows you to see patterns that once controlled you. The impulse to delay, the urge to escape discomfort, the habit of distraction. When you see them clearly, they lose their authority. They become information instead of instruction. This is emotional distance. Distance does not mean suppression. You are not pushing thoughts away. You are allowing them to pass without a beat. This requires restraint. Restraint is a form of strength, quiet strength. As you practice this, a shift occurs. You feel less rushed, less compelled, less hijacked by internal noise. The mind still speaks, but its volume lowers. You are no longer inside the river. You are observing it. And then the tension builds again, because now you see how often impulse decided, how many small moments shaped large outcome. This realization can feel heavy. Let it pass. This is not regret. This is awakening. With awakening comes responsibility. You now know that every reaction is optional. Not easy to resist, but optional. This knowledge is power, and power must be handled carefully. Pause, breathe, choose. Each time you pause instead of reacting, you strengthen the distance. Each time you choose intentionally, you reinforce leadership. The pause becomes familiar. The space expands. Choice becomes. There is relief here. Not relief from effort, but relief from chaos. You no longer feel pushed around by your inner world. You feel steadier, grounded, present. You are no longer at war with impulse. You are simply not obeying it. This steadiness changes how you move through pressure. Situations that once triggered immediate reaction now meet calm observation. You listen. You wait. You decide. Others may rush. You do not. This is not hesitation. This is control. Silence becomes your advantage. You begin to trust yourself more. Not because you feel confident, but because you have evidence. You have seen yourself pause. You have seen yourself choose. Trust grows from proof, not affirmation. And yet, impulses will continue to appear. This is important to understand. Mastery does not remove impulse. It removes obedience. The river will keep flowing. You will simply remain above it. Imagine what this creates over time. Decisions made without panic. Actions taken without regret. Discipline executed without internal conflict. You are no longer dragged by what you feel in the moment. You are guided by who you decided to become. Say it calmly. I decide who I become. Let that settle. This decision echoes forward, into your habits, into your standards, into your identity. The pause you practice now will soon become automatic. Not reacting will feel natural. Choice will feel familiar. As this chapter closes, something inside you has shifted. You are no longer fused with every thought. You are no longer ruled by every urge. You have created space. And in that space, power is forming. What comes next will require that space to grow even stronger. Because once you can pause, you will be asked to build consistency. And consistency demands control over time. Stay above the river. The current is losing its hold. Chapter 4. Discipline is a daily decision. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is not something you are born with or without. It is not a surge of motivation that visits you on rare days. Discipline is a decision you make repeatedly, often quietly, often without recognition. And over time, those decisions shape who you are allowed to become. Authority is built the same way. Not through intensity, not through dramatic change, but through consistency. Every day presents you with small moments that appear insignificant. Wake up or delay, focus or drift, finish or postpone. These moments do not announce themselves as life-changing. They arrive softly, easily dismissed, yet they carry weight, because each one is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Discipline lives in these moments. Most people believe discipline requires force, that it must feel heavy, that it demands constant effort. This belief keeps them trapped. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel strong. They wait for conditions to improve. And while they wait, momentum never forms. You are learning something different. Discipline is not effort first. It is identity first. When discipline becomes part of who you are, action follows naturally. You do not debate whether to show up. You show up because that is what you do. You do not negotiate with delay. You move because that is who you are becoming. This shift changes everything. Imagine building a wall one brick at a time. No single brick looks impressive. No single action feels transformative, but each brick placed correctly strengthens the structure, quietly, reliably. Over time, that wall becomes solid, unmovable. This is how authority is built. You lay bricks in silence, no announcements, no applause, no external pressure, just daily decisions made consistently. Some days feel easy, some days feel heavy. The brick still goes down. Show up again. At first, this repetition feels ordinary, almost boring. Your mind may crave intensity. It may want rapid results. It may question whether these small actions matter. This is where delayed gratification enters. Delayed gratification is not deprivation. It is trust in the process. You choose long-term authority over short-term comfort. You choose structure over impulse. You choose consistency over excitement. These choices feel subtle now, but they compound faster than you expect. Each time you show up, you send a message inward. You tell your mind that your standards are stable, that your word matters, that you can be relied upon. This internal trust creates calm. Calm creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. Momentum removes friction. As momentum builds, discipline begins to feel lighter. Not because the work disappears, but because resistance weakens. What once required effort now feels normal. What once felt difficult now feels expected. This is relief. Relief from inner conflict. Relief from constant decision-making, relief from negotiating with yourself. You are no longer asking whether you will act. You already decided. And then the emotional rise returns. Because consistency reveals something powerful. You start to see results forming quietly beneath the surface, not always visible to others but clear to you. Strength increases, focus sharpens, self-trust deepens. You feel more grounded, more stable, less reactive. You begin to respect yourself more. This respect is not loud. It does not inflate ego. It stabilizes identity. You know who you are becoming because your actions confirm it daily. Show up again. There will be days when energy is low, days when motivation is absent, days when comfort calls loudly. These days are not obstacles. They are training ground. Discipline proves itself most clearly when conditions are ordinary or uncomfortable. On those days, you do not search for inspiration. You rely on structure. You do not ask how you feel. You act according to who you decided to be. This decision is quiet, firm, unemotional. You move. Each time you do, authority strengthens. Authority over your time, authority over your habits, authority over your direction. This authority spills into other areas of life. You speak with more certainty. You act with more intention. You hesitate less. Others may not know why you feel different. You do. You have built consistency. Consistency creates predictability. Predictability creates trust. Trust creates leadership. This sequence cannot be rushed. It cannot be skipped. It must be lived. There is empowerment here. You realize you no longer need extreme motivation. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need external pressure. You have built an internal system that carries you forward. This system does not break. Even when you miss a day, you return. Even when momentum slows, you resume. Discipline is not perfection. It is return. It is recommitment. It is showing up again without drama. Show up again. As days turn into weeks and weeks into months, identity locks in. You stop calling yourself someone who is trying. You become someone who does. This change is subtle but irreversible. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for distraction drops. Your focus sharpens. You feel steady. This steadiness is authority. You are no longer pushed by emotion or pulled by impulse. You move by choice, repeated choice, daily choice, quiet choice, and that choice compounds into strength. As this chapter closes, you are standing inside momentum you create. Ted, brick by brick, decision by decision. No one handed this to you, you built it. What comes next will test this consistency under pressure. Because once discipline becomes identity, it will be challenged by complexity and demand. You will be asked to protect what you built. Stay steady. Show up again. Chapter 4. Discipline is a daily decision. Discipline is not something you summon. It is something you practice. It does not arrive in dramatic moments or emotional highs. It lives in ordinary days, quiet choices, and repeated actions that no one applauds. Discipline is not effort you force once. It is a decision you return to daily until it becomes who you are. Authority is built the same way. Most people search for motivation because they believe discipline depends on feeling ready. They wait for energy. They wait for confidence. They wait for the right mood. While they wait, time moves forward and nothing changes. This is not because they lack potential. It is because they misunderstand how discipline works. Discipline is not powered by emotion. It is powered by identity. When discipline is treated as effort, it feels heavy. When it is treated as identity, it feels natural. You stop asking whether you should act. You act because that is what someone like you does. This shift is subtle, but it is permanent. Every day places small decisions in front of you. Wake up or delay, focus or drift, finish or stop early. These moments appear insignificant, yet they carry weight far beyond their size. Each decision is a signal. Each action is a vote. Together, they shape your authority over yourself. Discipline lives in these votes. Imagine laying bricks in silence. One brick does not look powerful. One brick does not feel impressive. But each brick placed correctly adds stability. The structure grows quietly. Over time, it becomes strong enough to stand against pressure. This is how consistency works. You do not build authority through intensity. You build it through repetition. Showing up when it feels easy matters. Showing up when it feels ordinary matters more. Showing up when it feels uncomfortable matters most. Show up again. At first, this repetition feels dull. Your mind may crave excitement. It may question whether these small actions matter. This is where delayed gratification becomes essential. Delayed gratification is not punishment. It is trust in long-term results over short-term relief. You choose effort now so ease can come later. You choose structure now so freedom can grow later. You choose consistency now so authority can form later. These choices rarely feel rewarding in the moment. That is why they work. Each time you choose discipline, you send a message inward. You tell your mind that your word is reliable. You tell yourself that you follow through. This creates internal trust. Internal trust creates calm. Calm creates confidence. Confidence reduces resistance. As resistance weakens, discipline stops feeling heavy. It becomes routine. What once required effort now feels expected. You are not forcing yourself anymore. You are simply being consistent. This is relief. Relief from constant decision-making. Relief from internal debate. Relief from the exhausting cycle of starting and stopping. You are no longer asking whether you will act. You already decided. And then the emotional rise returns. Because consistency produces evidence. You begin to see proof. Not always visible to others, but undeniable to you. Focus improves. Follow-through increases. Self-respect grows. You feel steadier, more grounded, less reactive. This steadiness is authority forming. Authority does not shout. It does not rush. It does not seek approval. It moves quietly and decisively. It shows up whether conditions are ideal or not. Show up again. There will be days when energy is low. Days when progress feels slow. Days when comfort calls louder than commitment. These days are not failures. They are training days. Discipline proves itself most clearly when motivation is absent. On those days, you do not search for inspiration. You rely on structure. You do not ask how you feel. You act according to your standards. This action is calm, controlled, unemotional. You move anyway. Each time you do, authority strengthens. Authority over your time. Authority over your habits, authority over your direction. This authority spills into other areas of life. You speak with more certainty, you hesitate less, you trust yourself more. Others may notice a difference, you feel it first. Consistency creates predictability. Predictability creates trust. Trust creates leadership. This sequence cannot be rushed. It cannot be skipped. It must be lived. There is empowerment in realizing this. You no longer need extreme motivation. You no longer depend on perfect conditions. You have built an internal system that carries you forward. This system does not collapse when emotion changes. It remains steady. Even when you miss a day, you return. And when momentum slows, you resume. Discipline is not perfection. It is return. It is recommitment. It is choosing again without drama. Show up again. As days turn into weeks, something locks in. You stop identifying as someone who is trying. You become someone who does. This identity shift is quiet but irreversible. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for distraction lowers. Your focus sharpens. You feel stable. This stability is power. You are no longer pushed by impulse or pulled by emotion. You move by decision, repeated decision, daily decision, quiet decision, and those decisions compound. Brick by brick, each brick strengthens the structure. Each choice reinforces identity. Each action confirms authority. No single moment defines this transformation. It is built through repetition. As this chapter closes, you are standing inside momentum you created. You earned it through consistency. You built it through daily decisions. No one handed it to you. What comes next will demand that you protect this momentum. Because once discipline becomes identity, it will be tested by pressure, complexity, and demand. Stay steady. Show up again. Chapter 6. Emotional control creates leadership. Leadership is not loud. It is not reactive. It is not emotional force spilling outward. True leadership begins internally, with control over your emotional state when pressure arrives. Anyone can perform when conditions are easy. Leaders are revealed when conditions tighten. Leaders respond. Followers react. Emotion itself is not the enemy. Emotion is information. It signals intensity, urgency, importance. The mistake most people make is treating emotion as instruction. When emotion rises, action follows immediately. Voices raise, decisions rush, focus narrows, control disappears. Leadership requires something different. You do not suppress emotion, you regulate it. Suppression creates pressure. Regulation creates stability. One buries emotion until it explodes. The other contains emotion and uses it. Imagine still water under a storm. Above the surface, wind rages, waves crash, chaos appears. Below the surface, the water remains calm, steady, unmoved. That depth is emotional mastery. You are not denying the storm. You are choosing not to live inside it. This depth is trained. When pressure appears, your body reacts first. Breath shortens, muscles tighten, thoughts accelerate. This is natural. Leadership does not panic at this response. Leadership slows it down. You breathe, you ground, you stay present. Calm is not weakness. Calm is control. At first, this calm feels unfamiliar. Your system may interpret it as hesitation. Others may mistake it for passivity. It is neither. Calm is clarity. Calm allows you to see options that panic hides. Calm gives you time. Time creates advantage. Most people lose authority the moment emotion spikes. They rush to speak, rush to decide, rush to defend. Their urgency hands control to the situation. Leadership does the opposite. It absorbs pressure and stays steady. This steadiness creates trust. When you regulate your emotions, your presence changes. You become someone others feel safe around. Not because you are soft, but because you are stable. Stability signals strength at a deeper level. You are not ruled by your emotional weather. This does not happen overnight. Emotional control is built through repetition under stress. Small moments first. Minor frustrations, delays, interruptions. Each one becomes practice. When irritation appears, you notice it. When anger rises, you breathe through it. When anxiety tightens your chest, you slow down instead of speeding up. This is training. At first, you may feel like you are holding back. That feeling passes. What replaces it is confidence. You realize you can feel emotion without being controlled by it. You can experience intensity without losing direction. This is relief. Relief from emotional whiplash. Relief from regretful reactions. Relief from saying or doing things you must later undo. You begin to trust yourself under pressure. That trust builds authority, and then the pressure increases. Because emotional mastery is tested most when stakes are high, when expectations rise, when others lose control. This is where leadership separates. Imagine being calm when others break. Imagine watching panic spread and not joining it. Imagine pressure rising and your voice staying steady. Imagine your mind staying clear while others rush. This is not imagination. This is training taking effect. When others react, you respond. Response is intentional. Response is measured. Response considers consequence. Reaction is immediate and emotional. Response is delayed and strategic. Leaders create space before action. In that space, you choose tone, you choose words, you choose timing, you choose direction. Emotion informs you, but it does not command you. Still water under storm. The storm may intensify, criticism may arrive, conflict may escalate, you remain grow. Undid, this grounding does not dull you, it sharpens you. You see more, you hear more, you decide better. People notice this. They may not understand why your presence feels different, but they feel it. Calm becomes your signature. Under pressure, you do not fragment, you consolidate. You become more focused, not less. This calm creates influence. Influence does not come from force. It comes from composure. When others feel out of control, they look for stability. When you provide it, leadership naturally follows. There is empowerment here. You realize you no longer fear emotional intensity. You no longer rush to escape discomfort. You stay with it. You breathe through it. You regulate it. This ability becomes a quiet advantage. Each time you remain calm under pressure, your nervous system adapts. What once felt overwhelming now feels manageable. What once triggered reaction now triggers awareness. You are expanding your capacity. Capacity is leadership currency. The more pressure you can hold without reacting, the more responsibility you can carry. The more responsibility you can carry, the more influence you earn. This progression is natural and earned, not forced. You do not need to dominate situations emotionally. You need to stabilize them. Stability calms others. Calm creates trust. Trust invites leadership. And still, emotions will rise. Mastery does not remove emotion. It removes chaos. You feel fully, but you act deliberately. This balance creates inner strength. You are no longer afraid of losing control because you have practiced keeping it. This practice continues daily. In conversations, in decisions, in moments of stress, each regulated response reinforces identity. You begin to see yourself differently, as someone who stays composed, as someone who leads themselves first. This identity locks in quietly. You speak less but with more impact. You react less but with more precision. You move slower but arrive sooner. Still water under storm. As this chapter closes, you stand on a higher level of control. Not rigid, not suppressed, balanced, present, clear. Your emotions no longer lead you, they inform you. What comes next will require this calm to guide focus and precision. Because leadership without focus scatters power. Emotional control prepared you for the next refinement. Stay steady. The storm no longer decides for you. Chapter 7. Rewriting your inner identity. Up to this point, you have been learning how to manage yourself. You noticed thoughts instead of obeying them. You regulated emotion instead of reacting. You practiced discipline as a daily decision. These were not random skills. They were preparation. Because now you arrive at the real shift. Behavior does not change permanently through control alone. Behavior follows identity. As long as you see discipline as something you do, it will require effort. As long as you see focus as something you try, it will feel fragile. True stability appears only when these qualities become part of who you are. This is where identity changes. Identity is not a label. It is a command structure. It determines what feels natural, what feels uncomfortable, and what feels automatic. When identity shifts, behavior follows without resistance. Until now, your mind was operating under an old command system. That system was shaped by habit, environment, and repetition. It rewarded comfort. It avoided effort. It reacted quickly and reflected later. You were constantly managing it, negotiating with it, correcting it. That phase is ending. You are not here to control your mind forever. You are here to become someone whose mind obeys naturally. Imagine an organization where leadership is unclear, orders conflict, direction changes daily, confusion spreads. Effort increases, but results remain inconsistent. This was your inner world before awareness. Now imagine a clear command structure, roles defined, standards set, direction stable, movement becomes efficient, resistance fades. This is identity alignment. You are changing command. At first, this shift feels subtle. You may still hear old thoughts, old urges, old reflexes. That does not mean identity has not changed. It means the transition is underway. Old systems do not disappear instantly. They lose authority gradually. What matters is who you listen to. Identity is reinforced through repetition. Not repetition of words, but repetition of actions aligned with standards. Each time you act in accordance with your chosen identity, you strengthen it. Each time you hesitate, the old identity weakens. This process is calm, deliberate, grounded. You stop saying, "I am trying to be disciplined." You begin living as someone who is disciplined. You stop saying, "I need to focus more." You begin operating as someone who values focus. This is not performance, this is alignment. At first, you may notice a strange feeling, a quiet certainty replacing inner debate. You act without explaining yourself. You do not seek validation. You do not announce change. You move. This is identity settling in. The mind responds quickly to clarity. When identity is unstable, the mind questions every action. When identity is clear, the mind follows direction without friction. This is why identity matters more than motivation. Motivation fluctuates, identity stabilizes. As this new identity forms, you begin to notice fewer internal arguments, fewer emotional spikes, less hesitation. You do not feel intense excitement. You feel calm confidence. Calm confidence is stronger. It lasts. This calm is not passive. It is grounded authority. You are no longer forcing discipline. Discipline flows from who you are becoming. You no longer fight distraction constantly. Focus feels natural. You no longer push yourself to act. Action feels expected. This is relief. Relief from inner conflict, relief from constant self-correction, relief from feeling divided inside. You feel aligned, whole, directed. And then the rise begins again. Because identity attracts responsibility. When you operate from a stronger identity, challenges increase. Expectations rise. Complexity grows. This is not punishment. This is progression. Stronger identity invites greater demand. You do not resist this. You are ready for it. This is who you are now. Say it internally. This is who you are now. Not loudly, not emotionally, calmly, with certainty. This phrase is not affirmation in the motivational sense. It is instruction. It tells your mind what standard to follow. Repetition strengthens. This is who you are now. Each time you repeat it, the command becomes clearer. Each time you act in alignment, the identity locks deeper. You begin to notice how automatic your responses become. You wake with purpose. You move with structure. You recover quickly from disruption. You no longer spiral. You recalibrate. This recalibration is identity at work. You are no longer asking yourself what kind of person you want to be. You decided. And now you are living from that decision. Others may notice the change. They may comment on your calm, your consistency, your presence. You do not explain, you do not correct them. You continue. Identity does not need defense. At this stage, old patterns may attempt to return. They often do, not because they are strong, but because they are familiar. Familiarity can feel comforting even when T is limiting. You recognize this now. When old impulses appear, they feel distant, almost irrelevant. You observe them without tension. You do not fight them. You do not follow them. They fade. This fading is not effort. It is authority. You have changed who is in charge. The inner dialogue shifts. It becomes quieter, more precise, less emotional. You no longer narrate every move. You act. Action reinforces identity. faster than thought ever could. This creates momentum. Momentum strengthens belief. Belief stabilizes identity. Identity guides behavior. Behavior creates results. Results reinforce belief. This loop becomes self-sustaining. There is power here. You realize you no longer need constant reminders. You do not need external pressure. You do not need accountability from others. You hold yourself to your standards. This does not make you rigid. It makes you reliable. Reliability is leadership. You begin to trust yourself deeply, not because you feel confident all the time, but because your actions are consistent. Trust grows from evidence. Each aligned action is evidence. This identity shift does not make life easier. It makes you stronger. Challenges still appear. Pressure still exists, but your response changes. You no longer shrink. You adjust and move forward. This is emotional maturity. This is leadership maturity. You are not chasing growth anymore. You are expressing it. Say it again slowly. This is who you are now. Let it settle into silence. As this chapter closes, the internal struggle feels different. Not gone, but reorganized. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are directing yourself. This direction will soon be tested in deeper ways. Because once identity stabilizes, focus must sharpen, and focus will demand precision. Stay grounded. The command structure has changed. Chapter 8: The Power of Silence and Secrecy. There comes a stage in growth where noise becomes a weakness, where explanation drains energy, where being seen too early weakens what is still forming. This stage is unfamiliar to many because the world rewards visibility. It praises announcements. It encourages sharing before substance is built. But leadership is not developed in public. It is forged quietly. Quiet work builds loud results. Up to now, you may have looked outward for confirmation, a sign that you were improving, recognition that you were on the right path, a signal that your effort mattered. This is natural. Validation feels like progress, but validation is not growth. Validation is feedback from others. Growth is alignment within yourself. The more serious your transformation becomes, the less you need to explain it. Silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. Imagine roots growing underground. They spread slowly, deeply, invisibly. No one sees them. No one applauds them, yet they determine everything that appears above the surface. The strength of the trunk, the reach of the branches, the ability to withstand storms. What grows underground decides what survives above. This is where you are now. Your work is internal. Your discipline is private. Your consistency is unseen. And that is exactly why it is becoming strong. When progress is private, it cannot be interrupted by opinion. When goals are unspoken, they cannot be weakened by doubt. When effort is quiet, it remains focused. Silence protects momentum. At first, this quiet feels strange. You may feel the urge to share, to explain, to prove that you are changing. That urge is not wrong. It is familiar. It comes from an old identity that sought reassurance externally. You notice it now, and you do not obey it. Silence sharpens discipline. When no one is watching, standards are revealed. When no one is applauding, commitment is tested. Quiet removes performance. What remains is truth, and truth builds strength. You begin to understand that secrecy is not hiding. It is containment. You are protecting what is still forming. You are allowing it to mature without interference. This maturity cannot be rushed. The more you keep your process quiet, the more energy stays inside the system. Nothing leaks, nothing dissipates. Focus deepens, confidence stabilizes. This creates calm confidence. Calm confidence does not need to announce itself. It does not rush to be understood. It moves steadily and lets results speak later. This confidence feels different. It is not excitement. It is grounding. You feel rooted. Silence also removes comparison. When you stop broadcasting your journey, you stop measuring it against others. You no longer adjust pace based on external reactions. You move according to internal standards. This alignment strengthens identity. At this stage, you may notice fewer words coming from you, less explanation, less justification, not because you are closed, but because you are focused. Speech becomes intentional. Energy becomes conserved. This conservation is power. When others speak constantly about what they will do, you are doing it. When her seek reassurance, you are building evidence. This difference compounds quietly. Underground roots. No one sees the hours you keep your commitments. No one sees the restraint you practice. No one sees the moments you choose discipline over comfort. These moments accumulate. Strength grows unseen. This invisibility is not discouraging. It is freeing. You are no longer dependent on reaction. You are no longer swayed by approval or disapproval. Your direction is internal, stable, reliable. This stability becomes grounding. Say it calmly. I am grounded. Let that settle. Grounding changes how you move through the world. You become less reactive to noise, less influenced by opinion, less distracted by urgency that is not yours. You choose where to place attention. You choose what to ignore. Ignoring wisely is a leadership skill. Not everything deserves response. Not every thought deserves expression. Not every goal needs an audience. Silence filters noise. It protects clarity. As you practice this, relief appears. Relief from overexposure. Relief from explaining yourself. Relief from the pressure to perform identity rather than live it. You feel lighter, more centered, less fragmented. And then the tension returns. Because silence can feel lonely at times. When you stop sharing progress, there is no immediate feedback. When you stop announcing goals, there is no external encouragement. This is intentional. It forces you inward. Can you continue without applause? Can you stay committed without recognition? Can you trust your process without witnesses? This is where depth forms. You realize that self-respect matters more than approval. That internal trust outlasts external praise. That discipline practiced in silence becomes unshakable. The roots grow deeper. Over time, silence changes your presence. You speak less, but when you do, your words carry weight. You move without rush. You listen more than you talk. This does not make you invisible. It makes you solid. People may begin to sense something different. They may not know what changed. They feel stability, calm, certainty. You do not explain it. You do not label it. You remain quiet. Silence becomes your advantage. This does not mean isolation. It means discernment. You choose carefully what to share and with whom. You protect your process from unnecessary exposure. This protection accelerates growth. As strength builds unseen, confidence increases. Not loud confidence, quiet assurance. You know you are progressing because your actions are consistent, because your standards hold even when no one is watching. This is integrity. Integrity is alignment between private action and public presence. Silence helps preserve it. When no one is watching, you still show up. When no one is listening, you still act. This consistency shapes character. Character creates leadership. You begin to feel anchored. Pressure does not shake you easily. Opinions pass without impact. You are less defensive, less reactive, more composed. This composure is power. Underground roots do not rush to the surface. They take time. They spread quietly. And when the storm comes, they hold everything upright. You are building that root system now. There is empowerment in knowing that growth does not require an audience. That progress does not need proof. That strength can develop quietly and still transform everything. You stop rushing the reveal. You stop craving acknowledgement. You allow time to work. Time becomes your ally. As weeks pass, silence no longer feels empty. It feels full, full of focus, full of intention, full of quiet progress. You feel stronger without having announced anything. This strength is yours. Say it again, steady and calm. I am grounded. As this chapter closes, you stand firmly rooted beneath the surface. Your growth continues unseen, uninterrupted, uncompromised. What is forming inside you does not need explanation. It needs time, and time is working in your favor. What comes next will bring visibility. It always does. But when it arrives, you will be ready, because what grows underground does not collapse when exposed. Stay grounded. The roots are deep. Chapter 9. Delayed gratification builds dominance. There is a moment in every serious transformation where progress slows and discomfort increases. Results feel distant. Effort feels heavier. Comfort becomes tempting again. This moment is not a setback. It is the gateway. This is where dominance is built. Short-term discomfort creates long-term authority. Most people understand this idea intellectually. Very few live it consistently. They agree with it in theory, then abandon it when pressure arrives. You are here to do something different. You are here to train endurance at a deeper level. Dominance is not aggression, it is capacity. It is the ability to hold pressure longer than others, to delay reward without resentment, to stay committed when immediate relief is available but costly. This ability separates those who lead from those who follow. Delayed gratification is the foundation of that separation. Your mind prefers immediacy. It seeks relief now. It wants certainty now. It wants comfort now. This preference is not a flaw. It is a survival instinct. But survival instincts are not designed for leadership. Leadership requires overriding what feels good in the moment for what serves you in the long run. This override is trained. Imagine training in thin air. Oxygen is limited. Breathing is harder. Every movement requires more effort. At first, your body struggles. Muscles burn faster. Endurance drops. The urge to stop grows strong. But something important happens when you stay. Your system adapts. Over time, lungs strengthen. Blood carries oxygen more efficiently. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. When you return to normal conditions, performance increases dramatically. The same terrain that once felt difficult now feels easy. This is delayed gratification in action. You voluntarily choose difficulty now, so strength becomes automatic later. You train where it is hard, so life feels lighter where it matters. Most people avoid this training. They choose comfort and wonder why pressure overwhelms them later. You are learning to choose differently. Delayed gratification is not about denial. It is about direction. You are not rejecting pleasure. You are postponing it. You are not punishing yourself. You are investing in your future self. This investment compounds quietly. At first, the discomfort is loud. The urge to quit is convincing. The mind presents rational reasons to stop. It frames comfort as balance. It frames delay as wisdom. It frames indulgence as self-care. These arguments sound reasonable. That is why they work. You recognize them now. This recognition does not remove discomfort. It gives you choice. Wait, hold, build. Waiting does not mean inactivity. It means resisting impulse. Holding does not mean stagnation. It means maintaining direction. Building does not mean rushing. It means steady accumulation. These commands are simple. Living them requires strength. As you practice delayed gratification, pressure increases. The absence of immediate reward creates tension. Stay with it. This tension is capacity expanding. Your nervous system is learning that discomfort is survivable. That effort does not equal danger. That waiting does not equal loss. This learning is critical. When you can sit inside discomfort without reaching for relief, you gain leverage over yourself. This leverage becomes authority. Authority over appetite. Authority over distraction. Authority over impulse. This authority changes how you move through challenges. You are no longer desperate for resolution. You are patient, measured, strategic. Others may rush. You do not. This patience is not passive. It is deliberate. Long-term thinking begins here. You stop asking what feels good today. You ask what builds strength tomorrow. You stop optimizing for comfort. You optimize for capability. This shift alters every decision. Small choices change first. You delay gratification in minor moments. You finish the task instead of scrolling. You maintain focus instead of escaping. You rest intentionally instead of indulging mindlessly. These moments feel insignificant. They are not. Each one strengthens endurance. As endurance grows, confidence stabilizes. Not emotional confidence, structural confidence. You know you can withstand discomfort. You have proof. This proof changes how you approach difficulty. Difficulty no longer intimidates you. It invites you. And then the pressure rises again. Because as you grow stronger, challenges become heavier. Responsibility increases. Expectations rise. Comfort becomes more accessible. Opportunities to abandon discipline multiply. This is where dominance is tested. Dominance is revealed by what you choose when you could choose otherwise. When comfort is available and you decline it. When ease is offered and you delay it. When reward is visible and you wait for something better. These choices are quiet. No one applauds them. They do not look impressive. They build something rare. Endurance. Endurance is the ability to stay committed when progress feels slow. To hold your standards when no one enforces them. To continue when momentum fades. This ability cannot be faked. It must be trained. Training happens in thin air. You feel the strain. You notice the desire to stop. You stay anyway. Each time you do, capacity expands. The next challenge feels slightly lighter. The next delay feels slightly. Relief appears gradually. Not relief from effort, but relief from fragility. You no longer break under discomfort. You no longer panic when reward is delayed. You feel steadier, stronger, more capable. This steadiness is dominance forming. Dominance does not need to rush. It does not need to prove itself. It waits because it knows it can. It holds because it has depth. Others may mistake this for rest. It is strength. You begin to experience a new relationship with time. You stop needing immediate validation. You stop craving instant results. You trust the process because you understand compounding. Compounding favors patience. Every disciplined action deposits strength. Every delayed impulse deposits authority. Over time, these deposits accumulate into something formidable. You are building leverage. Leverage over your reactions. Leverage over your habits. Leverage over your future. This leverage allows you to operate differently. You choose long-term outcomes even when short-term discomfort appears. You act from foresight rather than urgency. Imagine what this creates. Imagine staying calm when others rush for relief. Imagine maintaining direction when others abandon effort. Imagine holding your standards when others compromise theirs. This is dominance, not dominance over people. Dominance over impulse, over time, over pressure. The training continues. There will be moments when discomfort feels unnecessary, when indulgence seems harmless, when delay feels excessive. In those moments, return to command. Wait, hold, build. These words anchor you. They remind you of direction. They remind you that strength is being formed even when results are not visible. Thin air training is invisible. Results appear later. You may not feel powerful while training. That is expected. Power develops quietly. When it appears, it feels natural, earned, stable. As endurance deepens, something shifts internally. You stop fearing discomfort. You stop interpreting struggle as failure. You see it as conditioning. Conditioning changes perception. What once felt heavy now feels manageable. What once felt urgent now feels optional. You gain emotional distance from desire. Desire loses its grip. This distance is freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is choosing what serves you most. Delayed gratification grants that freedom. You begin to notice how many people are ruled by immediacy, how quickly they seek relief, how easily they abandon direction. This observation is not judgment, it is clarity. You see the difference. You are no longer in a hurry. You are in training. Training produces dominance slowly, then suddenly. One day you realize situations that once overwhelmed you no longer do. Temptations that once controlled you now feel weak. Pressure that once collapsed your focus now sharpened. This realization is empowering. You trust yourself deeply, not because you feel strong in every moment, but because you know you can hold discomfort without breaking. This trust creates calm authority. Calm authority does not announce itself. It moves steadily. It waits when necessary. It acts decisively when the moment is right. You are learning timing. Timing is leadership skill. Knowing when to wait and when to move separates reaction from response. Delayed gratification trains this discernment. You stop chasing immediate outcomes. You prepare for decisive moments. When those moments arrive, you are ready. Because you waited. Because you held. Because you built. Say the commands internally. Wait, hold, build, let them settle. These words are not restriction. They are strategy. They protect you from trading long-term strength for short-term comfort. As this chapter nears its close, pressure feels different. Not lighter, but less threatening. You have expanded your capacity. You have trained endurance. You have learned to say no without resentment and yes without urgency. This is dominance forming quietly. You are not rushing the process. You are trusting it. You are no longer measuring progress by comfort. You measure it by consistency under pressure. This measurement is accurate. Others may move faster at first. They often do. They also stop sooner. You are building something that lasts. Thin air training does not produce instant results. It produces superior ones. Stay committed to the delay. Stay calm inside discomfort. Stay focused on who you are becoming, because what comes next will demand even greater precision. And precision requires endurance. Wait, hold, build. You are closer than you think. Chapter 10, Becoming the One Who Finishes. There is a point in every serious journey where talent no longer matters, where motivation fades, where excitement disappears. What remains is resolve. This is the final stretch, and this is where most people stop. Finishers win, dreamers repeat. Up to now, you have built awareness, control, discipline, identity, silence, endurance. Each layer prepared you for this moment, because finishing is not about starting strong. It is about continuing when the internal rewards disappear. This is where resolve hardens. The final stretch feels different from the beginning. At the start, energy is high, vision is clear, progress feels exciting. In the final stretch, energy is low, vision feels distant, progress feels slow. The mind begins to question everything. This questioning is predictable. The closer you get to completion, the louder resistance becomes. It uses fatigue as evidence. It uses boredom as justification. It uses doubt as logic. It suggests stopping just short of the finish. It frames quitting as wisdom. You recognize this now. This moment is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that you are close. Imagine a runner in the final stretch of a race. Legs heavy, breath strained, the body screams for rest. The finish line is visible, yet feels impossibly far. This is where races are decided, not by speed but by refusal to slow down. You are in that stretch now. The mind will offer compromise. Slow down, pause, delay, restart later. These offers sound reasonable. They are not. They are exits disguised as options. There is only one direction. Forward. Keep going. Don't stop. Resolve is not emotional. It is structural. It is the decision that quitting is no longer available, not because you are forcing yourself, but because your identity will not allow it. At this stage, quitting feels familiar. Finishing feels unfamiliar. The mind prefers familiarity. It has practiced stopping many times. Finishing requires a new pattern. You are here to install it. The final stretch strips away illusion. There is no excitement left to lean on, no novelty to energize you. What remains is character, and character is revealed by what you do when no one is cheering. This is where you separate. Most people stop here, not loudly, quietly. They fade, they rationalize, they move on without closure. They carry unfinished loops forward. Those loops drain confidence, they weaken trust, they repeat. You are not repeating, you are finishing. Keep going, don't stop. As fatigue increases, something unexpected happens. Your focus sharpens. When quitting is removed, the mind stops negotiating. Energy stops leaking into debate. Everything consolidates around completion. This consolidation is powerful. You are no longer asking how long it will take. You are no longer measuring discomfort. You are moving, step by step, action by action. This movement generates momentum even in exhaustion. Momentum carries you when motivation cannot. There is a transformation peak here. When you realize that stopping is no longer an option, pressure changes. It stops feeling threatening. It becomes background noise. You move through it. This is not intensity. It is inevitability. You are finishing. Keep going. Don't stop. At this stage, discipline feels different. It is no longer effortful. It is automatic. You do not feel heroic. You feel focused. Calm, determined. The drama is gone. The work remains. This calm determination is rare. It is the calm of someone who trusts themselves to complete. That trust has been built through evidence, through consistency, through endurance, through silence, through delay. Now it expresses itself as resolve. Resolve is quiet. The final stretch also exposes fear. Fear of completion, fear of change, fear of responsibility that comes with finishing. Starting allows potential to remain untouched. Finishing demands reality. You move anyway. Fear does not stop you. Fatigue does not stop you. Doubt does not stop you. None of them have authority anymore. Keep going. Don't stop. Each step forward reinforces identity. Each action confirms who you are. You are no longer someone who almost finishes. You are no longer someone who stops when it gets hard. You are becoming the one who finishes. Say it internally. I finish what I start. Let that anchor you. This affirmation is not encouragement. It is recognition. You are naming what you are already doing. Finishing is no longer a goal. It is behavior in motion. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, when effort seems unrewarded, when silence feels heavy. These moments are part of the final stretch. They do not mean failure. They mean refinement. Refinement removes excess. It leaves only what matters. What matters now is completion. Completion closes loops. It frees energy. It builds confidence that cannot be shaken. When you finish, you prove something to yourself that no motivation can replace. You prove reliability. Reliability creates authority. Authority over your direction. Authority over your word. Authority over your future. People who finish trust themselves. That trust changes how they move through life. They hesitate less. They commit more fully. They are not afraid of long-term goals because they know they will see them through. This trust is priceless. Keep going. Don't stop. As you push through the final stretch, discomfort peaks. This is expected. The body resists change at the threshold. The mind resists closure because closure removes excuses. You remain steady. Each step now feels heavier yet clearer. There is no confusion. There is no debate. There is only execution. Execution is leadership in motion. You are no longer inspired. You are aligned. Alignment is stronger. This is the transformation peak. When you finish something meaningful, identity solidifies. You do not need to tell yourself who you are. You know, the evidence exists. It cannot be argued away. You finished. That memory stays with you. It becomes a reference point. The next time you reach a final stretch, you recognize it. You do not panic. You do not question. You move. This creates momentum across your life. Finish one thing and finishing becomes familiar. Finish consistently and quitting feels unnatural. This is how finishers are made. Keep going. Don't stop. As you near completion, relief begins to appear. Not relief from effort, but relief from uncertainty. You know the end is coming because you are moving toward it deliberately. This relief steadies you. You are no longer rushing. You are no longer resisting. You are completing. Completion does not need speed. It needs persistence. Persistence wins quietly. You may notice a shift in how you see others. Not judgment, recognition. You see where people stop. You see where they rationalize. You understand the pattern because you have lived it, and you chose differently. This choice is irreversible. Once you become someone who finishes, you cannot unknow it. You cannot unbuild that trust. You carry it forward. This is empowerment. You are no longer afraid of starting difficult things because you trust yourself to finish them. You are no longer intimidated by long timelines because endurance is familiar. This changes ambition. Ambition becomes grounded, strategic, calm. You do not chase excitement. You build completion. Keep going. Don't stop. As this chapter closes, you are still moving, not celebrating, not resting, completing. The finish line is no longer intimidating. It is inevitable. You are not sprinting. You are steady. You are finishing. Say it once more with certainty. I finish what I start. Let that settle into silence. What comes next will not be about effort or endurance. It will be about operating with precision under pressure. Because finishing prepares you for something greater. You have proven reliability. Now you will be asked to carry responsibility. Keep going. Don't stop. Chapter 11. Mental authority under pressure. Pressure does not create leaders, it reveals them. When stakes rise, when time compresses, when consequences sharpen, what you have trained internally comes forward without permission. There is no space for pretending. Pressure exposes the truth of your inner command. This is where mental authority is tested. Under pressure, most people lose clarity, thoughts scatter, emotions surge, urgency replaces judgment. They rush to act because stillness feels dangerous. In doing so, they surrender control to the moment. Leadership disappears the instant panic takes over. You are here to learn something different. Mental authority means you do not collapse when pressure arrives. You consolidate. You become more precise, not less. Stress does not blur your thinking. It sharpens. Pressure is not the enemy. Pressure is fuel. When pressure hits, your body responds automatically. Heart rate increases. Breath tightens. Attention narrows. This response is not a flaw, it is energy. What matters is how that energy is directed. Without authority, pressure becomes friction. With authority, pressure becomes propulsion. You have trained for this. You have learned to pause before reacting. You have learned to regulate emotion instead of suppressing it. You have built discipline, identity, endurance, and resolve. All of that preparation converges here. This moment demands execution. High-stakes situations remove comfort. There is no time for debate, no space for hesitation, no room for emotional negotiation. Decisions must be made. Actions must follow. Consequences are real. This is where leaders separate. The untrained mind panics because it feels the weight of consequence. It wants relief. It wants escape. It wants reassurance. The trained mind recognizes pressure as a signal to narrow focus. You do not think about everything. You think about what matters. Clarity under pressure comes from reduction. You strip away noise. You ignore irrelevant inputs. You focus on the exact action required now, not the outcome, not the fear, not the opinion, the action. This focus is authority in motion. Stay exact. Exactness means precision. It means choosing the right move, not the emotional move. It means executing fundamentals when complexity tempts overreaction. Under pressure, basics matter more, not less. You slow your breathing. You steady your posture. You anchor your attention. These are not rituals. They are control mechanisms. Pressure tries to pull you outward into speculation and fear. Authority pulls you inward into presence and action. This inward pull stabilizes. As stress increases, your awareness sharpens. You notice details others miss. You hear what is unsaid. You see patterns through chaos. This is not intuition. It is trained perception. Pressure reveals preparation. Most people talk about performing under pressure. Few understand that performance is the result of internal order. You cannot improvise authority. It must already exist. You have built it. Now it is applied. Execute. Execution under pressure is calm, not rushed, not aggressive. Calm. Calm execution conserves energy and prevents error. It keeps movements efficient. It keeps decisions clean. Mistakes under pressure come from excess thought, excess emotion, excess urgency. Authority removes excess. You do not need to do more. You need to do exactly what is required. Stay exact. Execute. As pressure intensifies, the mind will attempt to predict outcomes. It will imagine consequences. It will project failure or success. These projections are distractions. They drain attention from action. You release them. Outcome is not your responsibility in the moment. Action is. This discipline creates freedom. When you focus on execution, pressure loses its ability to overwhelm. It becomes contained, manageable, useful. You are no longer fighting stress. You are directing it. This is the transformation peak. In this peak, something important shifts. You stop seeing pressure as threat. You see it as confirmation. Pressure appears only where responsibility exists. Where responsibility exists, leadership is required. You are capable of carrying it. As others begin to fragment, you stabilize. As voices rise, yours lowers. As movement becomes frantic, yours becomes deliberate. This contrast is noticeable, not dramatic, noticeable. People feel it. They look to you not because you demand attention, but because you radiate control. Control creates trust. Trust invites leadership. You do not need to explain yourself under pressure. You do not need to convince anyone. Your execution speaks. Stay exact. Execute. There will be moments when decisions carry risk. Authority does not eliminate risk. It manages it. You weigh quickly. You choose decisively. You move forward without regret. Regret requires hesitation. Authority does not hesitate. This does not mean you are reckless. It means you are committed. You accept responsibility for the outcome because you trust your process. That trust was built long before this moment. Pressure confirms it. As the situation evolves, you adapt without panic. You adjust without losing direction. You do not cling to a failing plan out of pride. You refine and continue. This adaptability is strength. Mental authority is not rigidity. It is responsiveness guided by standards. You bend without breaking. You adjust without collapsing. Stress becomes fuel. Fuel increases output when directed properly. Undirected, it burns everything. Directed, it powers movement. You are directing it now. Each time you operate this way under pressure, authority deepens. The next high-stakes moment feels more familiar, less threatening. You have been here before. This familiarity creates confidence. Confidence under pressure is not loud. It is quiet certainty. You know what to do because you know how you think when it matters. You have evidence. Evidence builds trust. You begin to notice something else. Pressure no longer exhausts you the same way because you are not fighting it internally. You are not resisting its presence. You are using it. This efficiency preserves energy. You leave high-pressure situations clearer, not depleted, focused, not scattered. This recovery speed becomes another advantage. While others need time to recover emotionally, you reset quickly. This is leadership endurance. Pressure also reveals priorities. Under stress, what truly matters becomes obvious. Trivial concerns disappear. You see what deserves attention and what does not. This clarity carries beyond the moment. You start making better decisions even outside pressure because your standards sharpened, your tolerance for noise lowered. You operate with greater precision in everyday life. Mental authority scales. It applies in crisis and in calm, in decision and in delay, in action and in restraint. You are no longer different under pressure. You are more yourself. This integration is powerful. Stay exact. Execute. As this chapter draws toward its close, pressure feels different now. Not lighter, but familiar. You respect it. You do not fear it. You know what it demands from you. Presence, precision, action. You have learned to enter pressure without losing yourself. You remain grounded. You remain clear. You remain decisive. This is mental authority. What comes next will not ask you to endure or execute. It will ask you to embody this authority fully, to move through life from this internal command without needing pressure to activate it. That transition is coming. For now, remember this. Pressure does not control you. You control yourself. Stay exact. Execute. Chapter 12. The mind that obeys you. This is no longer about trying. This is no longer about effort. This is no longer about control. This is identity. You have arrived at the point where your inner world is no longer divided. The constant negotiation has ended. The background noise has quieted. You are not forcing discipline anymore. You are not chasing focus. You are not managing your soul. Moment by moment. You are internally led. Your mind now follows your standards without resistance, not because it is suppressed, but because it has been trained to trust your direction. This is the final lock-in. What once required vigilance now feels natural. What once demanded effort now feels aligned. This is calm certainty. Certainty does not rush. It does not argue. It does not need reassurance. It moves steadily because it knows where it is going. You feel this now, not as excitement, as grounding. Your thoughts no longer scatter when pressure appears. They organize. Your emotions no longer hijack direction. They inform it. Your impulses no longer command action. They wait. The hierarchy has changed. You are no longer reacting to your inner world. You are directing it. This direction does not feel heavy. It feels clear. You wake with orientation. You move with intention. You decide without friction. This is leadership turned inward. At earlier stages, control required attention. You had to notice, pause, choose. Now those skills operate quietly in the background. You do not announce them. You do not think about them. They work. This is what mastery feels like. Your mind obeys because it trusts you. Trust was built through consistency, through finishing, through endurance, through silence, through delayed gratification, through execution under pressure. Each time you held your standard, trust deepened. Each time you followed through, authority strengthened. Authority does not need force. Force is used when authority is absent. Authority moves without resistance because it is established. Your inner system recognizes your word as final. There is no debate left. This is identity sealed. You notice how calm has become your default, not passive calm, stable calm, the kind that holds steady in motion, the kind that sharpens focus instead of dulling it, the kind that allows you to move decisively without rushing. Calm is now your advantage. This calm creates clarity. Clarity creates precision. Precision creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. Momentum carries you forward without strain. This is flow without chaos. As this identity settles, you begin to see life differently. Challenges no longer feel like interruptions. They feel like invitations to apply what you have built. Pressure no longer triggers fear. It activates focus. Complexity no longer overwhelms you. It organizes your thinking. You are no longer surprised by difficulty. Difficulty feels familiar because you trained for it. You built capacity deliberately. You did not avoid discomfort. You integrated it. Now when resistance appears, it is met with quiet resolve. Stand firm. Standing firm does not mean resisting everything. It means remaining anchored to your standards regardless of conditions. You bend when necessary. You adjust intelligently, but you do not abandon direction. Firmness is stability under change. Focus sharpens naturally now. You do not chase attention, you place it. You choose what matters and release the rest. Distraction feels less attractive because it no longer serves you. You are oriented toward purpose. Focus is no longer effort. Focus is alignment. Lead. Leadership no longer feels like something you turn on. It is how you move, how you speak, how you decide. You lead yourself without ceremony. Others feel this presence even if they cannot name it. Presence is quiet authority. You speak less but with more weight. You act less impulsively but with greater impact. You do not feel the need to prove anything. Proof already exists in your consistency. This is the third transformation peak. At this peak, there is no tension between who you are and how you act. Identity and behavior are synchronized. This synchronization creates power without strain. You feel whole. There is no longer a gap between intention and execution. When you decide, you move. When you commit, you follow through. This reliability stabilizes everything you build next. Reliability is leadership currency. And then something deeper locks in. You realize you are no longer motivated by fear of failure or desire for validation. You are motivated by alignment. You move because it feels correct, not because you are chasing a feeling. This is internal command. Stand firm, focus, lead. These commands are no longer reminders. They are descriptions of how you operate. This is the fourth transformation peak. You begin to notice how quickly you recover from disruption. Mistakes no longer spiral. Setbacks no longer derail you. You adjust and continue. Emotion passes through without sticking. Thought reorganizes quickly. Resilience has become automatic. Automatic does not mean careless. It means efficient. You conserve energy because you are no longer fighting yourself. Energy flows into creation, execution, and refinement. This efficiency compounds. You start to think long-term without strain. Patience feels natural. You trust time because you trust yourself. Use it well. There is no urgency to rush outcomes. You are focused on trajectory. Trajectory matters more than speed. Your mind now supports this perspective. It no longer demands immediate reward. It understands compounding. It cooperates. This cooperation is freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is having your inner world aligned with your highest direction. You no longer feel pulled apart. You feel centered. Centered people move far. This is the fifth transformation peak. At this peak, identity no longer fluctuates with mood or circumstance. You are the same person in calm and in pressure, in silence and in visibility, in preparation and in execution. Consistency defines you. You do not need constant reinforcement. You do not need external structure to keep you steady. You have internalized standards. They guide you quietly. This is sovereignty. Your mind is no longer a battlefield. It is an instrument, tuned, directed, reliable. It does what it is told because it trusts the one giving the command. This does not make you rigid. It makes you responsive without being reactive, flexible without losing form, calm without being passive. You are adaptable because your core is stable. Stand firm. Firmness here means clarity of values, not stubbornness. You know what matters. You know what does not. You choose accordingly. Focus. Focus here means intentional attention, not intensity. You place awareness where it creates the most value. You remove it from noise. Lead. Leadership here means responsibility for self first. You model what you expect. You act before asking. You move before explaining. This leadership radiates naturally. Others may follow, others may not. That no longer concerns you. Your direction is internal. Your standards are non-negotiable. This is peace with power. There is no need to rush the future. You are already moving in alignment with it. Each day reinforces identity. Each decision strengthens command. You rise steadily. Say it quietly. I rise. Let that settle. This affirmation is not aspiration. It is recognition. Rising is not a sudden event. It is a sustained trajectory, and you are already on it. You rise in discipline. You rise in clarity. You rise in authority. You rise in calm. Your mind rises with you because it is no longer resisting. It is cooperating. This is the mind that obeys you. Obedience here is not submission. It is alignment. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction. That direction was chosen deliberately. You chose it. This choice cannot be undone easily. Once alignment is experienced, disalignment feels uncomfortable. Once authority is internalized, chaos feels foreign. You have crossed a threshold. There is no return to the old pattern. You do not fear this, you welcome it. The old pattern limited you. This one expands you. As this final chapter settles, there is no dramatic ending, no explosion, no applause. There is something stronger. Certainty. certainty that you can be trusted by yourself, certainty that you will act according to your standards, certainty that when pressure arrives, you will remain clear. This certainty carries forward into goals not yet named, into responsibilities not yet given, into challenges not yet visible. You are prepared. Stand firm. Focus. Lead. Say it one final time, steady and grounded. I rise. Silence follows. And in that silence, you move forward, not because you are pushed, not because you are pulled, but because you are internally led. This is not the end. This is who you are now. Final conclusion. You are no longer searching for control. You are living it. This journey was not about motivation. It was about training your inner command. Your thoughts no longer drift. Your emotions no longer decide. Your actions align with your standards. You know when to move. You know when to wait. You know who you are becoming. This is the calm confidence of someone who trusts themselves. This is the quiet authority of someone who finishes. From here forward, you do not ask your mind for permission. You direct it. Stand up. Focus. You rise now. Final listener affirmations. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. You are not broken. You are untrained. Your mind has been running on habit, impulse, and noise, reacting instead of leading. Today, that pattern ends. This is the moment you stop negotiating with distraction. This is where you step into command. You have felt it before, the pull toward discipline, control, and certainty. You sensed what needed to be done, and you hesitated, not because you were weak, but because you were never taught how to lead yourself. Not anymore. From this moment forward, your thoughts align with your direction. Your emotions follow your decisions. Your actions obey your standards. You move with intention, not impulse. You choose clarity over comfort. This is not motivation. This is mental authority. Stay here, listen closely. Every word you hear is designed to reshape how you think, decide, and act. You are stepping into the version of yourself who commands their inner world. You made it to the end. That already says something about you. Most people stop early. You stayed. If this audiobook challenged you, if it sharpened your focus, if it reminded you of who you're becoming, then don't let this be a one-time moment. This channel exists for people who choose growth, discipline over comfort, clarity over noise, progress over excuses. If you want more audiobooks like this, more mindset training, more leadership, more inner strength, subscribe, like this video so it reaches the people who need it, and share it with someone who's ready to rise but hasn't found the words yet. Stay consistent, protect your mind, and keep moving forward. This is only the beginning.